Well, good evening, and welcome. I want to thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday evening. Today is the 5th of December, making our way all the way down to Christmas. 20 days, or they'll say 20 sleeps before Christmas. I want to thank those who are joining me on Instagram, those who are joining me on YouTube, Facebook, and YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Of course, TikTok as well. How are you doing? For those on TikTok, you have to go onto the YouTube channel, Sylbourne TV, and you can actually see. It's a very interesting time, um, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very interesting period as we can see what is happening in world affairs all around developing. And the way I coined this topic tonight is let me just turn this thing down. I'm gonna actually turn this down because I can't seem to hear myself. How I coined this topic tonight. I coined this topic tonight by saying, you know, the wills. We're talking about the the monologue between the people and world leaders. The people and world leaders. You know, when is it that you truly have the people pitted against world leaders? When is it? Is it when the promises made are swallowed by the void of forgotten speeches? When the hands meant to serve become fists clenched in greed, gasping at wealth, power, and control, while those who till the soil and build the dreams are left to bear the weight of broken systems? Is it when the voice of the many, raw, restless, unyielding, is silenced by laws drafted in chambers far removed from their cries? When the will of a nation is bent by the whispers of elites who map futures on charts linked with profit margins, while the present of the common folk is carved with hunger and despair? Is it the people rise not because they choose conflict, but because they are denied peace? Their anger does not brew overnight, it simmers, fed by betrayal, negligence, and the cold disdain of those in power. World leaders, perched in high on pedestals of their own making, declare themselves shepherds of gross progress, guardians of order. But what is progress if it tramples justice? What is order if it serves only privileged few? The people versus world leaders. It is a court of history where justice is demanded, where movements bloom from the cracks of oppression, and where the judgment is written not by the few who rule, but by the countries who endure. When the tide turns, it is not the roar of the masses that echoes, but the truth, long buried. That power, when hoarded, is fragile. And the greatest strength lies not in division, but in unity, forged by the struggle for what is right. You may see the topic today all over. You see what is happening in North Korea. You see what happening in France. And you may also see what has happened in Bahamas, where they take up the mace and dash it through the window. You know what I'm trying to say? Fling it through the window or so. But ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're going to look at tonight. And of course, we're going to look at the lady who passed away from the UK in Jamaica as well. And very sad occasion there. But let me bring my guest on and let's have a good discussion tonight. Sir Garry Graham, how are you doing? Good evening, and good evening.
Good evening, my good friend. How are you?
I'm cool in the Malibu, can't complain. There are many
All right.
reasons we should complain, but I shall not complain today. Definitely will not complain. And I'm sure you're not going to complain as well.
No, I, I won't complain at all. It doesn't change anything.
Doesn't change anything.
Change changes
Yeah.
nothing at all.
Yes, 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 yes. You know, I was just reflecting on a couple of the topics which is being shared tonight, Sir Graham, and it's about the people versus world leaders. And I think we have been talking about this for a long time, whereby we're saying about the leaders of today, somehow they are distanced from the people in a sense. The people put them in, but then them gallivant and left the people them gone. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like now me get the chance. Now I have the chance to do things. Let me run away and deal with it. You know? Let me run away and deal with it. And we are seeing it happening all over the world. And if we just talk about like even just one thing, let's go to North Korea. You know,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you've been following what's happening there in North Korea, Gary. Very interesting developments happening there in North Korea. You know, South Korea. My
Yeah, I
apologies.
mean,
Actually,
South,
they were blaming North Korea, but it's not.
yeah,
You
I
know.
mean, South Korea. I think it also took the United States by surprise also for Anthony Blinken,
Mm,
the uh, the Secretary of State, from how he um, responded after he was interviewed. He didn't know. They didn't know what was happening there, and I don't know if the whole world really knows what's happening there, because
yes.
it's rather unusual for a South Korean president to take such steps, really. And
You,
even though, because I think that whatever whatever it was that he said was going to happen. I mean, there have been many instances in the past amongst the South Koreans for them to have taken steps, but they never took the extraordinary step that he took.
mm,
And I'm sure things were even worse then than it is today. And if it was that bad, then the United States um, would have been informed, and would have known about it, of what probably the North Koreans were going to be doing. But obviously, there was nothing. So I don't really know what was happening for this president then to take the extraordinary steps that he took.
one would think at one point that they're talking about North Korea as well. You know, and ladies and gentlemen, this is about the South Korean president Yoon Suk Yeol, facing mounting pressure to resign. Time moves so very quick. You know, I mean, that's like in France. I don't know if he has resigned yet from the time he's went to pressure to resign over his failed attempt to impose martial law as Parliament moves closer to a vote on his impeachment. The capital Seoul has been a second day of street protests demanding Yoon's resignation, while police said he's being investigated for insurrection. I guess everybody's using that Trump factor, insurrection. The opposition is pushing for a vote on this motion to impeach Yoon on Saturday, even as the president party had said it opposed the move. Said it need at least 8 members of Yoon party to vote for his impeachment for the motion to pass with a two-thirds majority in the 300-seat parliament. He had said, cited threats from anti-state forces and North Korea. However, it soon became clear that his move had been spurred not by external threats, but by his own domestic political troubles. Isn't this what we have been talking about for a long time? Whereby leaders are distancing themselves somewhat from the people. So the people are now rising up and realizing, some are recognizing that, hang on a second, I'm the one with the power. Hang on a second, I'm the one who loaned these guys power, and it's rightfully for me to take it back. Whether it's a 4 year or 5 year thing. I'm not going to touch on Macron as yet, but Macron said something in his speech not so long tonight by saying that he has got a mandate for 5 years. and he's gonna serve that out. But if the people don't want to take it back, them take it back right away.
Yeah, I think there's an old adage that says power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
um, when men have a taste of what power is and of what
Mm.
influence can do, then they become dangerous. Certain people can become very dangerous, and it's. I think we are
Mm.
seeing men in our day. It happened in the past, and history is a lesson for us, you know. But I don't think we are really
Yes.
looking and reading. I don't know if the. I'm not a history. I loved history. Um, I didn't. I loved history, and I like to. I do like to read much about history once it catches my attention and catches my eye. And
Yes.
I really believe that there are individuals in our world today who are not reading history.
Mm.
They say that history repeats itself. It may not repeat itself with the same characters as as the past, but there are historical references which and markers that if men would only look back and realize that um, that they are just repeating what others have done in the past. Probably not, again,
Mm.
not exact. They are probably not carbon copies, but there are certain mistakes which are being done. And because you make the same mistake twice, doesn't mean it's going to happen or be corrected
Mm.
the second time. They're making the same mistakes. And when
Yeah.
people make the same mistakes again, and because it's politics you're really touching on. When people make the same mistakes, then the people will rise up. People will rise up and demand change.
Yes.
And I think that is what's happened and happening. Let's say, look at France. Look at the history of France.
Yes.
Look what has happened. In their political history, it hasn't been a very good history. It hasn't been, it's been a colorful history where blood has been shed and
Mm.
probably unnecessarily, but because of the greed and the want of power, yeah, then obviously things have happened there, and across the globe, we're
Yeah.
seeing that there are men, there are individuals, and especially again, you can look at the continent of Africa,
Yes.
where
Well, yeah. Let's just quickly welcome Herbert, and he's has come back from his sabbatical, and so like that.
yes, Herbert,
Wandering,
look like
wandering the
you just
wilderness.
you find the front door,
Eh?
you find the front door.
You see, there are some people who work hard and some people hardly work. Which one are you?
I work, man, I work.
No,
I
I work
notice your
hardly.
beard. Your beard is flowing in a certain way.
Yeah,
Where-
yeah, yeah. I just need the belly to go with the Christmas coming.
No man, no man, him just fall down upon some cement out there.
Follow cement outside. Herbert, I don't know if you I don't know if you pick up on the couple points that we were talking about in regards to the people versus the world leaders of today, and touching on South Korea, where all of a sudden this just happened in front of us, like that this new thing, you know.
No,
Don't know if you have been following it.
for a while I thought it was on the North Korean defectors trying to impose certain things in South Korea, right? It would be interesting to find
That's
out.
what even the South Korean guy thought as well.
Yeah, it would be interesting to find out what his motivations are, because I do not. I've never heard of him committing any crimes or anything untoward for him
Mm,
to declare martial law.
mm.
No, but it it's a thing where everybody is trying to be that strongman leader, and it doesn't work.
Do you
It
think
will not work.
do you, yeah do you think the advent of Trump is making people wanting to push their hands or so? People are somewhat being emboldened in a certain way,
It's
or
it's
is it a
not Trump.
false?
It's not Trump. I've said before. Berlusconi in Italy. He started a populist movement, right? And it has gathered steam along the way. You got
Momentum.
Marine Le Pen
Yes.
in France. You got Viktor Orban in Hungary. You had that guy, the Duterte in Philippines. You had a Brazilian president. Forgot the most recent one. Not Lula, but the other one,
Yeah.
right? And
What
with
about what
all
about
those,
Argentina? What about Argentina guy as well?
yeah, all of them, right? So if people are going to use one as a reference, I do not think Trump is the right one to use because Trump is only jumping on a bandwagon. Because nothing he says is genuine or original. It is always somebody else's speeches he's taken.
Can I just ask you this question, because I don't think we
Mhm,
spoke before the election. Do you
mhm.
think Trump is going to win the election?
Well, the vote was along was along lines of gender lines.
You haven't answered the
Right?
question. Do you
No,
think Trump
yes,
is going to win the election?
I've answered it.
Yeah.
Right? They voted along gender lines,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
Because I did not see where he performed or he said anything of substance during the campaign. I did not see where he conducted himself
Mm.
as a presidential
Mm.
candidate during the campaign. But from the interviews that I've seen that I saw before the election, that people are saying that they're voting for him because when he was president, they got
Yes.
more money, right? And
Mm.
it goes to show how deep one's one hunger for money runs, that they will sell their soul because of a few dollars more, right? He
Fistful of
won the
dollars.
election.
Yes.
He won the election because people voted for him, right? He won the election not
Mm.
because of anything positive that he said during the campaign, because all that was coming up was trashing and the demeanor of women and people who oppose him, right? So
Okay.
because of democracy, yes, we have to
So you won.
we have to accept that he's won the election and he'll be the president for the next
Yes.
4 years, or until he decides that he wants to stay as long as possible in the White House.
Oh, you think he's going to want to go beyond the 4 years?
He's already talking about it.
Okay. 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 All right. Let's move away from the Trump bit there, and let's go back to the whole essence of the discussion regarding the people versus against world
World
leaders.
leaders.
We also see the advent of France now with Michel Barnier, and what they're actually saying is that Macron, well, he addressed the nation tonight on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Prime Minister Michael Barnier was ousted in a no confidence vote, and this was along the lines, what I understood, and I can be corrected here, is that he was pushing through the budget and was using one of those executive orders to try to get through the budget. And that is where that triggered this whole thing. A total of 331 voted in support of the motion, far more than the 288 required for it to pass. Marine Le Pen, far right and left wing New Popular Front both united to censor Barnier government after the former Brexit negotiator used special powers to force through his budget without a vote.
Mm-hmm.
You see, what we're seeing is leaders somewhat distancing themselves from the people and believe that they are now God Almighty.
Well, you always say that once someone has been elected to office, they're no they're no longer accountable to the people who put them there. The people are now made to account to them. And this instance,
Mm.
it was no different. Right? Remember,
Yes.
Barnier was one of the negotiators when the UK
The
was,
Brexit.
yeah, during Brexit, right?
Yeah.
And when he became prime minister, I was shocked.
But there's a young
Um,
guy that was prime minister before Barnier, a young guy in France,
um, I think
a
I
young chap.
think um, something happened,
Yeah.
and he had to exit to the left,
Mm.
right? But Barnier, I do not think he's one that I don't think he's good enough to become a leader of a country.
Well, who is Herbert? Because I see the very same attitude coming through in most countries, even here in the UK. I mean, you got Starmer and his cabinet. I mean, he has a majority, but yet they are speaking now on behalf of the community, on behalf of the nation. But better still, Herbert, the nation is not with them because they seem now to be making policies against, and they're using. Okay, I mean whether or not it's because of the fault of the previous government, because successive governments will always say that. Governments who take over from other governments will always say, well, it's a mistake of the previous government.
Mm.
But 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 they've got the same attitude. They've got the same, these politicians here, the politicians in the United States, the politicians in the Caribbean, the politicians in Africa, all over the world. I think most of these governments, they're
Yeah.
they're taking the attitude that because they've got the mandate, quote unquote, from the people, then they can do what they want to do, and they're totally ignoring um, the the the
The
the
people,
concerns of the nation. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
the electorate. Yeah.
it's a thing, and this is my opinion, where um people think that because you're voted in mean that you're popular, as opposed to their their policies and their ideas are what was sold to the people, right? Now, if after you go through those doors and take your seat, you have a policy shift where you no longer stand on the policies that you campaign on, but something completely different,
Mm.
right? John
Well,
Public is saying,
a classic example, of course, is like the UK. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, John Public is saying, we didn't vote for that
Mm.
because we voted for you based on what you were saying, right? So how comes though you come and change the goalposts? So you need to go. You've overstayed your welcome. You need to go.
Mm.
And I think, Herbert, I really think that the UK is approaching that point. I really believe that. Now we may not see it, but I feel it. That I think that this government is going to go too far because
Well,
there are the elderly. They're suffering. They're going to suffer. They're going to
it
suffer.
it it started it started when the prime minister sanctioned one of his MPs because they didn't vote along party lines early in the
Yeah,
day.
in the initial stage of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. So if
premiership.
if
Yeah.
if you're just now seeing that, you're late, right? Voting a democracy means that whether you're a member of parliament or the common person out on the street, voting means that they can vote for anybody whose policy fit the ones that the public wants, right? It doesn't mean that if you're selling them garbage, they're going to vote for you because they love the garbage.
Mm. Well, listen to what French President Emmanuel Macron said. He said he will stay on until the end of his 5 year term until May 2027 after no confidence vote in parliament toppled the government.
If he
Speaking
lasts
to
that
the
long,
nation, speaking to the nation in a televised address on Thursday, just an hour ago or so, Macron said he would name a new prime minister in the coming days. He said, "The mandate you have given me is for 5 years, and I'll exercise it until the very end." Macron asserted himself during the 10-minute speech. He pointed blame at his opponents on the far right for bringing down the government of Prime Minister Michael Barnier. He said they chose not to do, but to undo. But the interesting thing about the French Parliament is that it is not like the UK, whereby you vote for a prime minister, vote through Parliament. It's a president who appoint such a person. So therefore, one would think that if the prime minister goes, then the president should go, isn't it?
well,
In
it
a sort of
it, it
but
depends because
it's not like a
remember their
separation in a sense.
remember their judicial system is different from ours, right? They have an
Yeah.
inquisitorial
Or the road.
system while we have a Westminster based system, right? And everybody runs your house different.
Yeah.
You may say it's okay for a man to have six wives, while he's never saying it's illegal for a man to have six wives. But
Yeah.
everybody run their house different, right?
Mm.
So based on the constitution, the French constitution, that is how it is run, right? Where the president elect the prime minister. Because remember, it was just last year that Macron elected a prime minister, I think, and that one was short lived. Because he was not popular with the
Let me
people.
see something here. Are we sort of getting some sort of cutting off? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Gary? Herbert?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there is something
The
unique happening in our world.
if I sort of interesting one there again as if eh?
No, I'm just saying there is something
I
unique
think I'm
happening in
losing
our
I'm
world
losing
today.
some. Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
hearing you.
Herbert?
Yeah,
I think
I'm
we're
here.
losing some sort of thing there, Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? Gary, you can hear me? Herbert, are you there? 1 2 3 1 2 3 2 3
We
4
can hear you.
5
We
6
can hear
7
you.
8 Okay, let me see. 1 2 1 2. Were you guys cut off a while ago? Were we cut off a while ago?
No.
Were you? Are you okay? Okay. Do you guys familiar with what happened in Bahamas?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
that's another development which is out there as well.
Yeah. The commissioner
I
has
think
retired. Has
I
resigned.
don't yeah
The
the who
commissioner has resigned. The commissioner has resigned because members of the high command, the police high command, or members or a member of the high
in
command has been arrested in the U.S. for drug trafficking. But the commissioner has taken it upon himself to resign. However, the leader of the Bahamas is saying that the
ah
commissioner has done nothing wrong,
isn't it?
yes, and that he's given exemplary service over the years. No, my question is, if your
We're
hands
having
are
some
clean,
serious
if if your hands are clean, why did you jump?
yeah we're having some serious Wi-Fi issues there. I'm sure it's not Flow that I'm using or so. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm using Flow. Herbert, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm sort of having some sort of some cutting off thing in the
Does
meantime here. Like I'm not okay. Gary says, "Can you see me?" Okay, let me bring back Gary on. Yeah, yeah. So okay, I'm trying to find some links there for the Bahamas thing here. Yeah.
mm,
So what happened in Bahamas now?
a member of the high
The
command was arrested
deputy
in
leader
in Florida.
opposition grabbed yeah
Yeah, hear me?
in Florida.
Yeah, he was indicted in Florida on drug charges.
Yeah, keep talking, Herbert. Keep talking.
Yeah, he was indicted on drug charges. Now
Uh-huh,
the commissioner has taken it
yeah,
upon himself to resign.
uh-huh,
The the leader of the Bahamas have come out in a statement and said that he's supposed to commissioner he has accepted the resignation, but he did not do anything wrong because he has given exemplary service over the years. Now, any skeptic would question, if you did do anything wrong, why did you resign?
yeah, yeah.
Right? So,
Let me see if I can yeah. Let me see if I can find something here. I'm having some little glitches, but let me see if I can find something here and play it. And let me know if you guys can hear it. And here it is. I play it.
Get him! What I
yeah,
will do is address you when this member is done. I will address you. You don't know what that address entails. Now I will say, get him! My lord, my lord. This is a dark day in this political arena that we call politics. For the first time in my life, when I took the oath of office, I felt challenged and I was in fear for my life.
She was she was challenged and fear for her life.
yeah, but where Where was the police officers in Parliament?
Mm.
Well, they came in after him threw the thing out.
Huh?
They came in after after he threw the mace out.
Listen, man. Listen, man.
Dash it through the
I've got
window.
I've I've got a couple squad mates in Bahamas,
Mm.
right? Have and had. And
Give
I'm
me, give me,
telling you,
give me the lowdown. Give me the lowdown.
no,
Whisper it,
I
whisper it to us.
I
No, not tell nobody else.
I haven't spoken with them, right? But if that is how the Bahamian Royal Police Services run, they're always playing catch up, as
Yes,
most police forces around the world. They're in deep
yes.
trouble.
Mm.
They're in deep trouble.
It is very interesting. As to the whole thing, because if I'm to find the whole article jog running at the same time, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, some jog running, you know. Local media said the melee was sparked when a Miss Divox reviews refused to allow the opposition leader Michael Pintard to address allegations in a U.S. indictment accusing the federal police of involvement in drug
Hmm.
trafficking.
Hmm.
Throwing a mace out of a window has historic significance in the country.
Hmm.
In 1965, the leader of the opposition did the same thing in a push for electoral change in an event dubbed Black Tuesday. Of course, we know the mace relates to the whole thing about the coming from the king, coming from England,
Yeah.
you know. So therefore, if they weren't the king wasn't the head of state. Is the king the head of state of Bahamas?
No, not anymore.
So why do they have the mace there?
Well, in most countries, they have it in Jamaica, they have it in Cayman Islands.
Yeah, but Jamaica is understandable because the king is the head of Jamaica.
But they have it in Cayman Islands too. I guess,
But Cayman
I guess,
Island, the king, Cayman Island is a direct
depending
dependent
territory.
of of England.
Yeah, but I
So
think it's a
that's understandable.
I, I think for them is a
Yeah,
the symbolic.
yeah, dependent territory.
Yeah, I think for them it's a
Mm. But
it
but you
has
see,
more to do with tradition.
in the UK, there was a situation once when the Speaker of the House, forget what his name is, the short guy, somebody grabbed the mace, and it's like everybody was like, oh, he grabbed the mace, man. The mace was like, God Almighty, you know. And they said, and the Speaker of the House, what's his name again? Forget the short guy. Who remember the short guy? The Speaker of the House said, according to article blah blah blah, and they had to kick the guy out of the house for the day.
Mm.
But it was like you can't touch the mace. And I think in Jamaica one time there was a situation whereby they grabbed the mace to a certain extent. I saw something else which transpires that in Jamaica the what's her name, the legislature cut ties with the British monarchy through historic bill. Jamaica bill to transition to a republic, removing King Charles, the head of state, is ready for Parliament, says top minister will establish a Jamaica president. Yeah, Gary, they say it's happening,
Yeah,
you know.
but
Jamaica bill to transition to a republic to remove King Charles is ready. She say ready, you know, according
but
to the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Report.
Sylbourne, how can it
Yeah.
be ready when you haven't invited the other party to be a part of the discussion?
Yes. I know that. I know that.
That
Because
means it's not ready then.
mm, she said, I'm pleased to inform this honorable house and the people of Jamaica that review of the Constitutional Amendment Republic of Jamaica bill is far advanced. It is quite possible to complete the remaining steps for the bill to be tabled as early as next week before the Christmas break, Malahoo Ford said. Last year, Jamaica Prime Minister Holness said it was time for the government to move forward with the transition to republic. I've always said this. The key thing is not about removing the king as the head of state. The key thing is what you're going to replace it with.
They're not
Garry?
including. I mean, they are not including the citizens of Jamaica.
No,
No.
They are
No.
not, and we've always said that. I mean, you've always been saying that
As-
they're included, and they're just thinking of themselves.
as
That's
far as
all.
I'm concerned, there's only 66 people live in Jamaica.
66.
66.
And who's that? The members
Yeah,
of
God
Parliament.
knows. Yeah, the members of parliament. It's only 66 because mainstream Jamaicans do not have a say in whatever decision is made, right or wrong.
But can't you say that is more or less what is happening in some major countries?
Gary, we're not
can say-
looking. Gary,
You can say
Let's
that
not
about
look.
the UK. You can say that about the US.
let's
other-
not look in. Let's not look over into other people's backyard or over their fences.
I hear what you're saying, but
Right.
I'm just trying to say that there is a comparison there.
There's only one man can speak on whatever is happening in Jamaica, and he's right here on screen right now. Right? Jamaica has a serious problem,
Mm.
and the members of the society are not involved in the decision making process. This thing should have been going to a referendum.
Yep.
It's not moving anywhere.
Well, yes. Well, it will go to a referendum. It will go to a referendum eventually.
When?
But I guess the question is what is going to go? What is it going to go before the people of Jamaica, especially when it comes on to what type of republic that you're going to have? What type of president? Is it going to be an executive president or is it going to be a ceremonial? And I believe that the government of the day under Ms. Malahoo Ford led leadership is pushing for a ceremonial president, not an executive president that the people of Jamaica can vote for, you know. And then there's so much things that is needed with the constitution. And they talk about the whole aspect regarding the Privy Council. Can the Privy Council still remain as the final court of appeal?
No.
You know, while at the same time you're removing the king as the head of state, but you're keeping his courts, which doesn't make sense.
It does
as much
not
as
make no
possible.
sense. Right?
I
Listen,
believe, yeah,
Sylbourne,
yeah,
you cannot leave your parents' house to go live on your own, but demand that your mother cook rice and peas and saltfish every day because of what you want.
Mm.
Right?
yeah,
If I leave my parents' house, I don't
Yes.
care what they want to cook. I'm no longer there.
mm,
I do not have a choice in what they eat. No, if Jamaica is leaving the UK, ditching the king, dash him away.
I
Why
mean,
do you want-
throw him through the window like the mace.
yeah. That's him too, right? Why do you want to remain apart? Why do you want the Privy Council to remain that final decision-making body
Yes.
when you yourself can't fly come here because you need a visa to come?
It definitely doesn't add up. It definitely doesn't add up. You know, it definitely doesn't add up. Gary, it definitely doesn't add up, Bertie, as much as possible. and it is hope that the people or civic society or civil society don't allow the government to have their way with this, because it symbolizes exactly what is happening around the world. With
But
South Korea, the people against the world leaders; in France, the people against the world leaders; and in Bahamas, people are talking about Jamaica. Jamaica need to have some strong people like the people from Bahamas,
yeah, but
because even hold on, and this one is a very interesting one. The former Speaker of the House recently won. Well, I can't even say win because she never really had any opposition really to be the MP again for the same area which she stepped down from. You know that, you know that. And guess what? And when she went in back into Parliament, everybody hug her up. PNP, JLP, and everybody hug her up. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like there's no sort of what should I say? Is it decency or integrity in the system? Nothing has really changed. I understand from the time when she stepped down, but yet at the same time, Gary, she put herself back. She's the one who stepped down in her because of certain things and certain court things, and then election call, she gone back again. The prime minister said, "Well, the people them want her."
eh, listen, Jamaicans believe in corrugated politics, corrugated and white rum politics, right?
Mm.
Politics is much more than a plate of corrugated and white rice and a drink of rum,
Might as well drop in oxtail. Might as well drop in oxtail.
right? And that is where the politicians in Jamaica are using it to manipulate the Jamaican people.
Mm. Yes. The sad thing also, which came out, and I don't know if you guys have been following it, but there's a lady, Dawn Anderson.
The
She
one that
was
was murdered in
found
Jamaica.
unalive. That's the word that they're saying now. She was found
Listen,
dead in
Sylbourne,
a shallow grave. She's from actually, is it Mitcham or something like that? She's from.
Sylbourne,
Yeah, I don't
let's
know if you
let,
guys
let,
have seen
let's
that bit there.
let's break away from this
Yeah,
unalive business. There's no such word as unalive, right? She
yeah,
was at her lifeless body was found somewhere dig buried in a grave,
yeah.
right? Now,
Go ahead, Herbert. Probably he's been having some problems. So I don't know what's going on.
yeah, in a paying bill, man, no paying bill.
Yeah, I don't know what and I'm sure it's not, and I'm sure
Yeah,
tell or flow.
I mean, the
I
whole
don't know
situation is sad.
what's going on.
The whole situation is sad, Sylbourne and Gary, and
It's,
that is why people in Jamaica will
Mm,
always face hardship because you don't know who to trust, right? The man
mm,
worked at the woman's house, and because of that, she probably felt impressed by his work ethic or his character or something, not knowing that the man is a career criminal. The man is known to the police in Jamaica in several
yeah.
divisions, right?
Mm,
Take a break and go reinvent yourself somewhere else.
yes.
But no, his mother and his sister are in custody.
His mother and sister is in custody as well.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
And he and his twin brothers are on the run.
Mm. This is the alleged husband. This is the husband or so.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's what 37 years old.
and she's
He's
60
probably,
something.
yeah, he's probably the same age as the woman's daughter or children.
Yeah, it says police have detained the mother and sister of the Morrison twins for questioning in relation to the probe after a body believed to be that of Anderson was found in a shallow grave at Food Farm Common located between Pullet Lane and Shrewsbury housing scheme in
What's going
Withorn,
on?
Westmoreland on
Mm.
December the 2nd. Uh,
But you see, that's the problem, Sil and Herbert. Most of these killings, well, I probably it's unfair to say that, but let's say a
mm,
lot of these killings are family related.
Gary, strangers do not kill people in Jamaica. Strangers do not kill foreigners in Jamaica.
mm,
If you go to Jamaica now, they're not looking for you, right?
mm,
It is your relatives who think that you should be bringing London and Manchester come because you're there in England long time and you can afford it. Jamaicans do not believe in robbing people and allow people to live and work
mm.
some more. Once they rob you, they rob
It's
your
a sad
life as
matter,
well.
and yeah, and
Okay?
it's in the it's also in the Sun. It's in the Mirror. It's in the UK
It
here
is
now.
everywhere.
Talking about this whole thing here. Um,
Maybe if you go to Russia, you will see to Russians that tell people don't go to Jamaica because they'll kill you.
yeah. But of course, we know that there's more worse things which are happening in Russia. There's more worse things which is happening in America. There's even more worse thing which is happening in the UK. I mean, in the UK, you saw the case of recent days whereby a little child was killed and buried
In
for
Birmingham.
years in Birmingham for years. Gary, you heard about that case? It's in Birmingham, actually, isn't it? Yeah,
When?
They
yeah.
were found guilty today.
They're found guilty today. From 2022, the child died or something like that and been buried. And they said the father believes that he's of some old thinking like vegetarian and all those sort of things. He's a king, the wife is a queen and all those sort of things. And they don't believe in the system, and the child died, buried. So there are evil things from people which are happening
Is it
everywhere.
where they're from?
I'm not sure if they're British subject or so, but they are African look. I don't know. I can't really say as well, but it's a very sad situation there. And of course, of last week or 2 weeks ago, Herbert, you must have heard someone shot in a car
Yeah,
with a
out in Shepherd's Bush.
with a father and a child.
Yeah.
So
Shot dead?
yes,
No,
in Shepherd Bush there. So
uh, the,
um,
I didn't hear. Well, I don't.
I don't
Well,
I don't think they
no,
died. I
Gary,
don't think they
no,
died.
no, 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 Gary. The news in London doesn't pass Oxford to get to Birmingham.
you're right. You don't even come as far as Leeds.
I mean, gang violence, right? Gang violence has no place in society, and bringing a child into an adult's life certainly has no place in society.
Yeah.
So I guess they say if the sins
Yes.
of the father shall fall on the child.
Oh, I tell you, man. I mean,
Yes.
things are
Yes.
getting
Yes.
worse.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. But on a,
well,
but mm,
I mean, things are getting worse. Things are getting worse, and things will get worse. And the
mm,
sad
mm,
thing about it is that the media is being controlled because we certainly are not hearing what really is happening out on the streets. We're not hearing these things.
No, well, remember that the media represent the political parties, both in leadership and in opposition. So while
mm,
the one in the opposition will seek to highlight the government failures when it's convenient, right? You have those in the media who are spin doctors, who still come
mm,
to try and blame the public for the government's failure.
Mm. Mm.
right? So we need to understand the role of the media in all this.
Mm.
They're, they're deviating away from the basic principles of what the media is supposed to do
Yes. Yes.
because they want to sensationalize the news to make it look good or bad on the government. Either way.
Yeah. Well, anyway, our condolences to the family of Miss Anderson.
Yeah.
I think she
It's sad.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think she's from Mitcham or somewhere near Croydon. I think that's where they're from, just around the corner
No,
down.
Southwest mean that she don't more come from over that side, Mitcham, Wembley
Mitcham
side.
is Mitcham side, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Southwest. Yeah.
yeah. But on a final note, what's you guys' take on Kemi? Let's just play something with Kemi and trying to get some question out of Stama. Let's see if we can just play this for a bit.
Mr. Speaker, if I may, I would like to pay tribute to Mandy Damari and her family for the strength that they have shown. And we on this side of the House, and I'm sure the whole House, continue to seek the speedy release of Emily Damari hostages. The Prime Minister talked about immigration. I think it's probably a good time to remind him that he was the one writing letters asking us to deport foreign criminals. And he and his party voted against every single measure that we put in place to try and limit immigration. But, Mr. Speaker, the question today is what has been on the lips of all Labour MPs, including, I believe, the Health Secretary yesterday. The Prime Minister knowingly appointed a convicted fraudster to be his Transport Secretary. What was he thinking?
Mr. Speaker, the previous Transport Secretary was right when further information came forward to resign. What a marked contrast to behaviour in the last 14 years. And she talks about immigration, record levels of immigration under the previous government, nearly 1 million. And she was the cheerleader. She was the one urging on the removal of the caps for work visas. She was thanking the previous Home Secretary for the work that was done. She championed it, she advocated it. Record numbers of immigration.
Mr. Speaker, he's obfuscating, but I'm going to keep him on the topic. He owes the House an explanation. He said that the former Transport Secretary was only asked to resign after further information came to light. What was that further information?
I'm not going to disclose private conversations. Further information came to light. The Justice Secretary resigned. As I say, what a marked contrast. But whilst she's obsessing with the Westminster issues, we're getting on with fixing the mess, fixing the foundations, that £22 billion black hole, our prisons bursting. Mr. Speaker, as we found out last week, nearly 1 million net migration numbers because of the Tory open borders policy.
What do you think about that there in regards to answering questions?
Well, he's fudging the answers, man.
He's a spin doctor, man.
Huh?
He's a spin doctor.
That's all he is. He's not answering the questions. He's just
and listen and
huh?
yeah and she continued. Listen to this.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not asking about migration. I'm asking about the former Transport Secretary. He never answers any questions. And it looks like he didn't ask his Transport Secretary any questions either. The truth is, he appointed a person convicted of
it's done there right there, so but anyway, you see that's the issue there. Nobody answered the questions.
No.
Yeah, not answering the question. Garry, do you answer questions? You know how to answer question, Gary? Herbert, you know how to answer question?
Well,
These guys
I
train not
can
to answer question.
I can only answer one question at a time. If you ask me five, I'm going to answer the last one because I'm not going to
Mm,
remember the first four. So if you ask me
yes,
a bunch of
yes.
questions, I will wait until you finish and answer the last one.
You see, when you think about the agricultural people, the farmers, when they came to London and they were striking, and they said, if Starmer don't roll it back, we're going to see what's going to happen. You know, the pensioners as well, coming on to this cold period as well. They sort of obfuscating that era, obfuscating or whatever like that. They're trying to avoid that particular era. And I saw the chancellor recently at the business meeting, and what she said was this: I promise you this won't happen again. You know, we just have to get this out of the way now. And what they're hoping for is that 1 year. They have this 1 year grace period of trying to get things done. And as West Streeton said for the health secretary, he said in regards to the NHS and the hospitals, he said, um, you're not going to get everything to be done and to be rectified in 5 months. But I believe by the end of this parliament period, or at least by the year, we should be seeing some things turning. And it's about actions, not about promises. When we're in opposition, it was promises, but now we're in government. It's about action, you know. And the thing about it, can the people hold on for that? Because guess what? The people vote out the conservative because they wanted some actions. They wanted to see some relief. But Labour is actually taking them down another road. You know?
I think it's time now that the prime minister stop talking about what the conservatives did over the past administrations.
Yes.
Yeah, you say we understand. So what are you going to do to fix
Mhm.
it? Because talking
Well,
about what they did makes no sense.
Mm.
well, we see what he's doing. He's putting up taxes.
Yes.
That means that you have to come out and start work.
Well, I'm working. I don't know what you are doing. I don't know what you are doing, but I'm working.
Yes, there are some people who work hard and some people hardly work. Where are you?
I'm working all the time, man. It
Gary,
looks
I
like
didn't say work. Gary, I didn't say work all the time. What do you do? Hardly work or work hard?
listen.
Listen, that's what he said. That's I listened carefully what Herbert said. Work or hardly work. And say not work.
Yeah,
Work
man.
or hardly work. I got to back Herbert right there, Gary.
No, 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 no. I work, man. I work. I work. You hardly work. I hear you hardly work, but I work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyhow, Michelle just came in last. Balance and wellness to everyone. Me late. I know the live is about to be over. Yes, Michelle is over and done. Do you work or you hardly work? Which one is it, Michelle? Do you work or you hardly work? That's a big question to everybody out there. Work or hardly work? you know. Well, guys, listen. It's very interesting that every week, there's always these developments, and of course, one could talk about what's happening in the Middle East. Um, Herbert, I will not go into this about the advent of Trump, whereby it seems like so many things are happening before Trump has actually, um, um, you know, becoming the 47th. I think he's going to France a couple of days from now for the Notre Dame, that place there. They said they didn't trust um, Biden to come because last time Biden went to France, he did something.
What do you do?
um, you know, and maybe he might want to get everyone off, everyone off like his son. And I'm trying to say, I was listening. I was listening to a lot of the different persons in the Democratic Party when they were saying, um, he's not above the law, he's not above the law, not above the law, not above the law. Everybody's saying not above the law, and all of a sudden, none of all of them are so quiet now when it comes
No,
on
but
to onto
in
Biden.
in in fairness,
Yeah.
right? what would you have done?
Eh?
What would you have done?
Who, me?
Yeah.
For my boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him go in it. If I have the opportunity
All right.
to. But
Well,
the-
Jared Kushner's father was
no, the
was
issue is a
partner.
lie. The issue is a lie. The issue is a lie.
No, you see,
Yeah.
no, he was hoping to run as president. He was
Okay.
hoping to win back the White House,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And that's why he said he will let the justice system do its thing, right?
And what that
But-
was before Kamala was the person running.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
But the man said that where his son is going to be hung out to dry as a political in a political battle,
Yeah, they say it's like a catchment
Right.
for him to a certain extent, isn't it?
right? I can't blame the man,
Mm.
right? I can't blame the man for release his son. Look at Roger Stone.
Mm.
Roger Stone was involved in some of the most egregious crimes in the US.
Mm.
Donald Trump pardoned the man.
Uh,
Bill Clinton has pardoned his brother.
yes, that's the guy who plays the the trumpalone or whatever like that.
Right?
The saxophone. Yeah.
And Donald Trump is talking about pardoning the people who stormed the Capitol building. So how is that any different from Hunter Biden being pardoned? Tell me, I don't know.
No. As I said, I don't think there's an issue there. I think it is because all of the different persons were saying, no, he's not going to do it. No, he's not going to do it. No, he's not going to. And he said he's not going to do it. But you just rightly pointed out that was when he believed that he was going to
Yeah.
be the next
Yeah.
running against Trump. But then the rug was pulled on the from him, and then Kamala came in, and yeah. So that's it.
I mean, if the Democrats were in power,
Yes.
right, or remained in power, I do not think he would have done it. But because the Republicans are coming with an agenda to go after the Biden crime family.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Garry, you go try to get your hard work going, and Herbert and Michelle, all the best, as well. And ladies and gentlemen, those on Instagram, those on TikTok, and those on Facebook, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and all the best. John Welburn, Borland, British Brain, Mafia, John Barber, and Neville Williams, and those on Instagram. Have a good night, and may God bless you. Until next time, peace out, guys.
Yes.
See you later. All right.
Gary, go sleep now because we're going to
Cheers,
work in the
man.
morning.